Welcome to episode 27 of Not the 6 o'clock News. This is a place where you can find information and inspiration for your new reality. If you don't know me, my name is Natasha Rosewood, and I am a quantum healer, author, and facilitator of happy new realities. So this week we're talking about bullies and how to find relief. So I'm going to initially just talk about the dynamics of bullies and why they do it. And then I'm going to give you 10 tips on how you can find some relief from the situation. There is no shame in this. We've all been bullied at some time in our life, whether it's children or adults. So just know that you are not alone in this situation and there is help available. So welcome back to my show. And I just want to ask you, are you or someone you love being bullied? Are you coping or are you just suffering in terrified silence? We all know that bullies can drive some teens and even adults to suicide. So why do we tolerate this behavior? So whether the bullying is verbal, physical, sexual, emotional, no one deserves to be bullied. And there's no need to put up with somebody else pushing you around. So with these 10 tips I'm going to give you tonight, you can be free and learn how to attract only the highest and the best. And I myself have been through this, so I know this works. You will not only save yourself by raising the standard of human behavior, but you're going to help other people. You're going to be an inspiration and maybe even the bully themselves. So let's get to it. So the question is, what is bullying? So bullying, make no mistake, is a form of abuse. Relationships are based either on love or fear. So if you're in a relationship that's based on love, it feels warm and fuzzy, it's kind, you feel good in that person's presence, you know they're on your side, they've got your back, they see who you are, they get you. But if you're in a fear relationship, and this is much more subtle, it's not going to feel as comfortable. It's not. They're going to be smiling and saying nice things, but there's going to be that feeling of like, why do I feel uneasy in this person's presence? Because often bullying can come in a passive aggressive kind of way, and so it's kind of underneath. So bullying can be very overt, from physical, verbal, sexual, mental abuse, to being very subtle. So some people don't even realize that they're being bullied until it's pointed out. And that actually happened to me too. So you're not alone, like I say. We all go through this in finding our way through our relationships in life. And this, I hope, is going to really, really help you. So why do bullies bully? Well, the truth is, bullies have been bullied. And bullies are people who actually, instead of feeling powerful, they're actually feeling powerless. And that is why they have a need to bully you or feel like they're more than. Because in a fear relationship, even with yourself, you're either going to feel better than or less than others. And bullies often feel like in some area of their life, or maybe all areas of their life, they don't have control, and they're living actually in fear of not having control. So the way for them to have some sense of power is to kind of lord it over other people. So when you're being bullied, remember that they're actually coming from a place of fear, and they're trying to offload their fear onto you. There's a lot of projection going on. So once you realize that, it can really help you kind of go, hang on a second, that person isn't powerful and I'm not powerless. It's actually the other way around. So in human relationships, because we live in a hierarchical society, we're kind of tribal, which means somebody is always going to have more authority over the other. It's very important for us to find our own sense of power within us and in our world. So we know that we do have power over how we are treated. Absolutely. So Bullies are always attempting to make you feel like nothing so they can feel like something. They've always got to have this better than energy going on because it gives them a sense of safety. So remember, when you're dealing with a bully, they have been bullied and they're actually in fear in some way. Because you know what? Happy people do not behave badly. So do you know someone that, you know, is being bullied? If you watch it, um, you know, it's very painful to watch somebody else, and it's very painful to be bullied yourself. So you're not alone. So tell somebody that what's going on, because when you do that and you don't keep it a secret, you break the cycle, you dissipate the power that that person might have over you, or who you are giving power to. You can do it anonymously. There are hotlines, there are counselors, friends, someone you trust. Just let them know so you can get that support. And we all know that a problem shared is a problem halved. But if you keep it to yourself, that bully can maintain power and actually grow power over you. So there is no shame in being bullied. Just really understand that that you, though, are allowing it. So we're going to, I'm going to give you 10 tips about what you can do about it. And there's plenty that you can do. But I'm going to say this. Being bullied starts with you. On some level, you are allowing it. It starts with a subconscious belief, perhaps, that you've been told that you're not good enough, and you walk around with your shoulders hunched and feeling less than. And bullies have a bit of a radar going on out there, looking for people they can bully, that they can lord it over. So if your body language and your thinking and you're kind of beating yourself up, the bully's going to go, aha, that person I can have power over and go and bully. And sure enough, it's a complementary match, because the abusers are always looking for the people that are willing to be abused. So it's going to start with you. So the first tip, like I say, like attracts like, and or complementary energy. So in order to stop the bullying, to get relief, you've got to love yourself more. You've got to raise your frequency, because if like attracts like and the bully is coming from a place of fear, you're in a place of fear, guess what? You're a perfect match. But if you raise your frequency, that bully is going to go right by you and find somebody else. So the way to raise your frequency is to love yourself, look in the mirror, acknowledge how great you are, that you're a miracle, that you have got unique talents and abilities, and that you love and respect yourself. So with each of these tips, I'm going to give you an affirmation, which I'm going to make a suggestion. If you're being seriously bullied, tape these affirmations onto a little tape recorder or your phone and play them as you go to sleep at night. So this is a way of changing the subconscious belief that you're less than or you don't deserve the very best. We want to change that belief so you change your outcomes. So the first affirmation for tip number 1 is, I am the best Natasha there is, and I only attract the highest and best people in my life. Number 2 tip, how people treat you begins with you, just like I've been saying. But stop bullying yourself. So we often kind of talk to ourselves in a very, it's called self-talk, in a very demeaning way. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I talk too much, or oh, I'm stupid. We can bully ourselves, but often that voice can be the voice of a parent or a teacher or a sibling, somebody from our past who's kind of conditioned us to think about ourselves in a certain way that we're not as good as. So we've got to really stop that negative self-talk first, because when we do that, it's like putting a hole in your roof and letting the rain come in. You're putting holes in your aura. And that is seen as a weakness by bullies on a psychic level. And trust me, we're all psychic. We're all picking up on each other all the time. You're letting that kind of negativity in. So you've got to stop bullying yourself. The affirmation for tip number 2 is, I love and respect myself. Number 3, your life journey. The reason why we're on the planet, I believe, is we all come here to learn to love ourselves and become and express the best person we can be. So let's just say your name is Georgina. I, Georgina, am going to become the best Georgina I can be. So we're all born with gifts and challenges. What are the gifts that you want to express? So that's your job in this lifetime. It's not about pleasing everybody else. You have brought in all these characters in your life, people who are in a close relationships or distant relationships. They're actors in your movie. And guess what? You've allowed them or invited them in. So if you've invited bullies in, those bullies actually are also there to teach you a lesson. And the lesson is, how can you love yourself more? So that's the only reason that person is in your life. And so it's a challenge to be overcome. But when you overcome it and you realize, you know what? Why would I allow anybody, if I love and respect myself, why would I allow anybody in my life to put me down? So when you give your power away to others, that's what you're doing. You're giving it away. They're not taking it from you. Some part of you has to have an agreement where you said, oh, it's okay, you can beat me up. So stand in your power, encircle yourself in a laser-like bubble of white light. The white light is the highest frequency there is. It's all about love. And I have been doing this for years, and it's never, ever, ever let me down. So I say that I'm in the white bubble of light, and only the highest and best can enter my bubble of light, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, or verbal. So only beautiful energy is allowed to come into my aura and into my world, into my energy. I put this around my house. I put white bubbles around my husband, my kids, my friends, when they're in the hospital having operations. It's so fantastic. So it's a real simple thing, just to use your mind to envision that you're safe within this bubble. So the affirmation for number 3 is, your life journey is all about becoming your best you. The affirmation is, what other people think of me is none of my business. Keep the energy here. Stay focused on you. You've got plenty of work to do in this lifetime. What other people are doing is interesting, but what other people say about you has to roll off that bubble, because it's none of their business. It's your life. Okay, number 4 is, examine your relationships. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. My mother, and many of you know this, I often say if my mother hadn't been psycho, I wouldn't be psychic. So although she was a terrible bully for many, many, many years of my life, and actually I was terrified of my own mother, I realized in the end I had to get away, because, excuse me, it was either her or me. She was on this ship going down, and if I tried to placate her or make it better or hope that my mother would turn out to be the mother that I wanted her to be, I was going down on that ship. And there was a time when she actually nearly did me in, because I was so depressed that she was able to have this impact on me all the time. Back in the day, there were no answering machines. She would phone me up 6 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock at night. She'd know, because she was psychic too, that I was really happy or really depressed. Wherever I was, she'd make it even worse. And it was like being in the Fatal Attraction movie. Like, you never knew where she was coming from, what she was going to do. She was violent in her energy. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me. So even though she was my mother, at some point I had to say, okay, we're done. I'm out of here. I actually, excuse me, I actually emigrated 10,000 miles across the planet to get away from her. So, you know, it was very hard, because she's my mother. So if I can do that, you have to do that. And once I did that, I felt so free and a sense of peace I can't tell you. And I was halfway through my life then. So I have wasted a lot of time trying to make her feel better about me. But that wasn't, I realized she was not going to get better. She was ill and nothing was going to change. And my being there or not being there did not change anything, except it had a positive and negative impact on me. So I bailed, I became a little bit selfish, and I took care of me, and thank God I did, because I got my sanity, and I was able then to be in a position to support others in getting away from bullies. And that's what I'm hoping I'm doing for you now. I also remember a long time ago, I used to be a flight attendant, and I had a friend who was one of those passive aggressive people. And I was on a flight and I was talking about this girlfriend. And Julie, one of my colleagues, said to me, Natasha, there are so many fabulous people out there in the world, darling, who would just love you because you are fabulous. Why would you waste a minute on somebody that doesn't completely love and respect you? And that really stuck with me. And I even had to apply that situation, like I say, to my mother. But it really helped me separate the people who are really good for me and who are toxic for me. And you know by how you feel around them. It's not words they say or things they do, or maybe it is, but you're going to know how you feel in their company and the energy you're getting from them. They may not even be aware of it themselves, that they're being passive aggressive with you, or that they're jealous of you, or there's something else going on underneath. But you just need to move away and separate yourselves from them. You don't even need to have a discussion sometimes. That's up to you. My mother taught me well about manipulation, and now if somebody comes into my realm that I feel doesn't hold me in the highest regard, I just cut them loose, like right from the get-go. I cut them off at the pass, and I'm grateful now to my mother for having trained me and given me that sensitivity to people who are not happy in themselves and might just choose to kind of take it out on me in some way. So the affirmation is, for that tip, number 4 is, I only allow people who love and respect me into my world. So number 5, ask yourself, why do you think you deserve to be bullied? And this is a big question. So I hope you're getting the message here. The being bullied isn't about the bully. It's all about you and how you're loving yourself. So I'm just going to tell you a quick story. I often feel that people who are bullied, and bullies depend on this, is that they're feeling guilty about something. So one day this young man came to me and he said, Natasha, what's going on? In the last 2 weeks, my car's been broken into, my backpack was stolen, my computer was hacked, all these bad things are happening to me and I don't understand it. And I said, well, are you feeling guilty about anything? Like, what's going on? And he said, oh, he nodded. And he said, well, actually, 4 weeks ago, a very dear friend of mine called me, wanted to see me, and I just couldn't. I was tired. I went to bed early. And that night, she walked out in front of a car and committed suicide. And I said, I worked with him a little bit, and I said, you know what? If she hadn't done it that night, she might have done it the next night. And it really has nothing to do with you, except that you brought that into your movie. And there is a gift in the learning of that. So it's not for you to feel guilty. Anyway, once we worked through that dynamic, all that punishment stopped. So in essence, he was feeling bullied by the universe. And that can happen. You can feel, that you've been eaten up and spat out sometimes by the world, but it's because something's going on with you. So do you feel guilty? Do you feel like you deserve to be punished? And I'm going to say to you, the only way to deal with that is to go inside and look at the situation, put yourself back into the situation as if you were a 4-year-old, and have compassion for that person that maybe they made a mistake, or maybe they weren't thinking properly, or maybe you behaved badly because you were coming from fear. But do something about it. Forgive yourself, ask for forgiveness, pay it forward, but do something that's going to bring your energy back up into that high frequency where you're not going to be attracting that punishment in the form of bullies. No one, absolutely no one deserves to be bullied. So look at also going back into your subconscious beliefs. And we all accumulate subconscious beliefs when we come into the world. Even before we come into the world, sometimes we bring them through from past lives. So we've all got this set of, call it programming, to coin a technical term, sitting in our subconscious, and that is what's running our life. That's what's attracting people and things to us. It's kind of like a barometer. Well, we only deserve this much money, this much love, this much health. Your subconscious is so powerful. And might suggest that that subconscious belief could be, for example, oh, I'm not important, I don't matter, I'm just here to serve other people, I deserve to be beaten up on, kind of thing. So we've got to change that subconscious belief. And there are different ways of doing it. One of them is to play this affirmation. But if you do need help in rooting that out, make an appointment with me and natasharosewood.com for a quantum healing or a session on your subconscious beliefs, and we'll clear that so you don't have to experience that again. Sometimes bullying can be from a past life that this might be your karma. So the person that's bullying you might have bullied in a past life. What goes around comes around, and it's not just in one lifetime, it's throughout time. Our soul always wants to seek balance. So if it doesn't get it this time, it's going to come back and do it again. So ask yourself, do you think that you deserve this? Have you done this to somebody else in a past life or even in this lifetime? And if you have, that can be forgiven. You don't have to go through this whole long process, but you do need to get the message from the lesson, and that is the gift. And then you can release it and let it go, and no longer will you have any more bullies. And I have to say, living in a high frequency of love, gratitude, and respect for myself, that I feel is my protection. So the affirmation for number 5 is, thank you to the bully for the gift of this lesson. I will love myself more. I now release the need for this condition. Gone, done, over. Number 6, tip. No one else can make you feel anything you don't want to feel. So we have this terminology. It's like, oh, he makes me feel bad, or he makes me feel this, or he makes me feel that. You choose your feelings. Sure enough, the event happens, but you can choose to take it personally. You can choose to blame it on the weather. You can choose to go, oh, isn't that interesting? That person's speaking to me like that, and kind of go into neutral and study it and work on understanding it. But no one else can make you feel something. So, you can choose your feelings. So again, when you're being bullied, you can choose to feel victimized, afraid, angry, enraged, or you can just say, isn't that interesting? And if it's not true about you, what that person is saying, if you don't take it in, then it can roll off your little white bubble, and it's just going to evaporate as untruth, and then it has no power over you. I would suggest, if you're with somebody that's treating you badly, walk away. If you don't have the ability to walk away, if your child's stuck in a home with bullying parents, I'm going to suggest to you that you call in your guides and angels, because we all have them, and let them come in and protect you psychically. I do this all the time when I'm afraid. I just say, guides and angels, come on in. And I imagine that I have these 12-foot golden beings just surrounding me in this beautiful light, and I'm safe with them. And what that does, whether you believe they're real or not, it changes your frequency from being afraid to feeling safe. And that's what you're going for. You're always going to raise your frequency, because bullies live on the lower frequencies, and you want to rise above them without sometimes even saying anything to them. You can just put yourself in a different state by thinking yourself into safety, into respect, love, and gratitude. You can also call somebody, tell the police, tell a friend, get support, or if you need to, get a restraining order. Okay. So number 7 is another way to raise your frequency, and I think we should all be doing this. I come from, England, which we're never encouraged to blow our own trumpets, as we say, or boast or brag about who we are, or what we've done. But there is a place of truth where you can acknowledge to yourself how well you're doing. So I suggest to a lot of my clients that they stand in front of the mirror and they list off the things, as you're looking at your own reflection, you list off the things that you're proud of, that you've done, that you've survived, that you've achieved, that you're good at, or you'd like to be good at. So I call this acknowledging your greatness. So, a lot of people have been through things, or they do things and they take it for granted. So ask your trusted friends too, how do you see me? What do you think my gifts are? What do you think I'm good at? Or what do you like about me? Or what do you respect about me? And get those words, and then you can write yourself a compliment journal. So get a beautiful book or just a notepad, whatever it is, and write one compliment per page. And then as you go to sleep at night, because we're going for the subconscious here, you're going to, the last thing you do is read this compliment journal. And I did this for myself because my mother's voice was in my head for years. And I wanted to get rid of her voice and replace it with my voice and other people. So people would say I was classy, or I was brave, or I was funny. And I kind of liked those things. So I wrote them down and I read them before I went to sleep at night. And I went, yeah, that's who I really am. Those other people aren't seeing the truth of who I am. But these people who love me are. And that's my truth too. So really embed those new images and words, because words have power, into your subconscious. Best thing to do just before you go to sleep. Better still, play a tape, and play the tape as you go to sleep, because then the ego is taking a rest. So number 8 is to re-examine your relationships. Sometimes we have friends for a long time, and again, this happened to me, and wonderful, we had lots of good times, but then suddenly one day the dynamic changes, and it's like subtle or not so subtle, and it becomes borderline abusive. It's passive aggressive, it's not nice, maybe they're jealous, maybe they're having a bad day. But really examine your relationships and go, where do I feel good? Who of my, in my relationships, in my circle, really gets who I am and just appreciates me? And the truth is, if you're not really enjoying them, they're probably not really enjoying you. So by cutting them loose, you're giving them permission to go and find people that are more on their level and get them. So you're actually doing them a favor as well. Affirmation, and say, this is what you would say to somebody: if you're not willing to treat me with the love and respect I deserve, you're not welcome in my life. Goodbye. Very simple, nice and clean, no need for anger, just a simple statement. It's like, it's not working for me, at least. Thank you, and I hope you'll be very happy in your new life. So the next tip is use your energy field to protect yourself. And I really want to teach this to kids because this is so simple. So we all have our vulnerable moments. I still do, of course. We're taken by surprise. We're blindsided by people. We're feeling fragile. We're feeling depressed. Sometimes we can't find any power within ourselves to fight back. So what I want you to know is that we all have this energy field around our physical body. That's called an aura, for those that you don't know. And in this aura, we kind of have attachments sometimes, or things, or people, or thoughts, even negative thoughts. And these thoughts and these attachments have their own frequency. Sometimes it's all light. If you've got a light aura, that's really good because you're emanating the high frequency where the bullies definitely don't live. So your aura can be like 6 inches from your physical body when you're feeling small, literally, that's when your aura shrinks. Or your aura can go as far as 40 feet away from your body. It's fantastic. So, you know, sometimes how you say, oh, this person walked into a room and they've got this big presence. Well, it's because they've got this expanded aura. Now, doesn't mean that when you're feeling low or depressed, you have to have a small aura. You can actually set intention for your aura, for this energy field, to expand 40 feet away from your body. You can fill it with white gold light or a color of your choice, pink, blue, but it's got to be light and bright and high frequency. And just pretend or practice walking around with this expanded aura. Hold your head high, shoulders back, and just go, I'm feeling big, I'm feeling protected now. I can be depressed and sad and vulnerable inside, but I've got this massive wall of protection, if you like, all around me. And we've all got that, and we can all do that. And I've done it many times when I've felt like, I'm feeling a bit nervous when I have to do a talk sometimes in front of a lot of people. Conversely, sometimes when I go down to the grocery store and I'm having a bad hair day, I don't want people to recognize me, so I bring my aura in, and I can slip through that grocery store and be invisible. You can kind of make yourself invisible too. So know that you've got that and use that to protect yourself. So the affirmation for that one is, I am safe, I am protected, and all is well in my life. And if nothing else works, you know, like I say, ask for help. Call me. There are lots of healers out there that know these dynamics and how to use your energy. So even if you're feeling unsafe, you can get support. You can get tools to help you raise your frequency. And if you still are attracting those bullies, make an appointment with me and we'll figure out what's going on. Because whether it's karmic from another life or it's karmic from this life, or you're feeling guilty, or you've just got this old belief that's still hanging on, we can get rid of that and turn it into something really beautiful. So you can walk through this life knowing that you are loved and respected. But that begins with you. So thank you for listening. Next week, I have decided that I'm going to, as it's getting close to Halloween, I'm going to start reading from my book, Mostly True Ghostly Stories. Readers love the stories. They say they're fun. Some people say they're a bit creepy, but that's what ghosts are about. So join me. And with the exception of 1 week in October when I'm interviewing a very inspiring young man from First Nations, from Merit, and it's a story about overcoming. And he's had an amazing story, and I'm just so in awe of how he's been able to move forward. So he's an inspiration to me. So I hope you'll join me. And I'll be putting the schedule of my shows on my newsletter. If you would like to receive my newsletter, please send an email to natasha@natasharosewood.com or go to my website, natasharosewood.com, and sign up for my newsletter. I always do thank yous and a shout out. We are going, it sounds like, back into maybe another lockdown. We're not sure yet. But again, thank you to everybody that's following the rules and just being, I want to say, considerate of other people, whether or not they believe it's a hoax or a conspiracy theory or it's whatever. Maybe you're incorrect because you're not a world doctor. So let's just, in the meantime, be very respectful of one another, be kind, as Bonnie Henry says, and let's get through this more quickly by being respectful of one another. So this week I'm going to do a meditation which is very powerful in dealing with difficult situations, difficult people that you don't know how to deal with. So if you want to just close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, exhaling through the nose, through the mouth, sorry. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And as you inhale, you're inhaling beautiful light of a high frequency. It can be any color you want. It can be that white gold light of protection, or your favorite color in a vibrant frequency. And just inhale it and let it go all the way through your body. And then when you exhale, just let go of these people that are giving you and causing you pain and hurt in your life. Imagine that you have a rose crystal bowl, a virtual one, hovering over your knees. And just let all that negativity, fear, loneliness, perhaps shame, guilt, disrespect, abuse go into that rose crystal bowl. And we're going to ask your guides and angels to come and remove that stuff and take it away from you. And when they take it away, they're going to transmute it into a beautiful gift that's going to come to you at some point this week. It might be an idea, a new friend, a resolution to your issues, just a happiness. Continue breathing and imagine that you're going to your favorite place, whether it be your childhood bedroom, the beach, the mountain, maybe even somewhere you've never been before that you want to go. And in this place you feel completely safe, sitting down in a comfortable position, and opposite you there's another chair. And we're going to invite the person that's been causing you pain, their higher self, the better self, to come and join you and sit in front of you. And as you're looking at them, you can ask them, why is this situation going on? Why are you causing me pain? Why are you bullying me? And listen for the answer. And when they give you this information, I want you to put it in a receptacle like a brick. And then I want you to say to yourself, I do not deserve to receive this, so therefore I'm going to return it to the person who gave it to me. And you hand it back to the person that's sitting opposite you. And you say, I now love and respect myself, and I have compassion for you in your pain. I'm now releasing you from my life, and I am sending you away with strength so that you may heal your issues. I am now free. I love and respect myself, and I only attract the highest and the best. Amen, so be it, and so it is. And before you leave this space, just notice your guides and angels surrounding you and the beautiful, warm, loving feeling you're receiving from them now, knowing that you are always safe and protected with them by your side. Amen, so be it, and so it is. And when you're ready, come back into your physical body. Take a nice deep breath in, having released this negative energy from your world, from your body. from your experience. You are now free to be the best person that you can be. Amen. So be it. So it is. Thank you for joining me. And I look forward to reading to you next week from my book, Mostly True Ghostly Stories. See you then.